Welcome to the New Normal Podcast, a place where we give the everyday man and woman a voice. Today's topic is a good one, and it's on fire right now. And we're talking about the manosphere. The title of today is Black Men Getting Pegged. And if y'all haven't been paying attention to what the manosphere is looking like, it's looking like a white woman is pegging a lot of the black men right now. And the reason that I say that is because the manosphere, to me, when I got a hold of it, it was literally led by a lot of black men. And for some odd reason, from the talking points of black men, a rise of like people like Jess Pearly. Then you have other people taking over in other spaces like hip hop, like your Adam 22, your Vlads, and those type of people have been shitting on black men lately. Today I got my special guest with me, the date master, and my boy Sir Bradley Ashton. Y'all introduce yourselves.
Toast makers, shot takers, and puff chasers. This is your great Sir Bradley Ashton back with my main man Sid for another installment of the New Normal Podcast. As he would say, it's always about when real niggas link up. You know,
Oh yeah.
it's always a pleasure to do a pod with my brother, the date master. You know,
Yes, indeed.
he don't need no introduction, but just for saying for the show's sake,
Date Master checking in. Yeah, we talked about this subject, man. Like I said, we just like to produce authentic content. No coattail pulling, no dick riding. We want to carve it our own lane and really get this message across as to because people in this space and just in the world, they don't understand what's to come. It's a shit storm on the way, and people just playing and lollygagging and just thinking just life gonna be the same, and it's not. So we just here to shed light and get you prepared what's to come.
Last year, I predicted that the manosphere was not going to last long. And so much so I was telling people, hey, we need to start our own movement. We need to start our own movement. Y'all hear me?
Yeah, you
yeah, I
good.
hear like Cliff.
You had
There's shit in my headphones. Hold on. Hello. Oh, there we go. I was wondering why I wasn't hearing shit. But yeah, I was saying that we need to start our own movement because I knew that it was going to fall when you had the rise of people like a Jess Pearl. And she's one of the popular names, white people that black people get exalt like their God or Jesus, their savior, who's going to lead them to the promised land. And now we see what the promised land looks like, Sodom and Gomorrah, because this bitch getting burnt down. And I don't understand how we keep letting people, women infiltrate a man's space and white people infiltrating a black space. I don't understand how that's constantly happening, why people are comfortable doing that. Why would you create a space and then go against the tenets of that space and then have shit on your face and then try to save face by coping or taking up for someone that doesn't look like you? What y'all think?
man. It's we have a propensity for allowing infiltrators, and you look at COINTELPRO back in the civil rights movement, Malcolm X and uh the Black Panther Party. You had a lot of organizations that had firm missions, but they were destroyed from the inside out. This is another movement, hence the Black Manosphere. When things become about a dollar, it has no value anymore because
Mm.
the dollar really doesn't have any value. You buy one thing, that's not good enough. You're gonna buy something that you're gonna buy the newer version. So you look at how money is spent, it really doesn't have any value. It's just a tool to get things that can either create, real wealth, which is the 1% get that, which is real estate, land, you know, buildings, etc. But for whatever reason, when we get black people in particular, you look at rap culture, you look at hip hop culture, you let the likes of Adam 22, DJ Vlad come in and pretty much have a Smithsonian museum of all of our great legends who willingly go on his platform, even with his disparaging remarks he made about Minister Louis Farrakhan. Nobody really checked him on that. He didn't really give a formal apology to Louis Farrakhan. But it's all about a dollar, man. We're the cheapest and the most bought people in history.
Mm. I agree with that one. What you think, Brad?
I mean, it's definitely causing a firestorm across the, what I'm saying, the internet ways. People are divided. What I'm saying, you have some people who, some people feel like the ones who are calling out a lot of the atrocities, individuals who are trying to protect the bag, like says about the dollar. And some people feel like you have individuals who are pandering for a likes of a Pearl and also other like female content creators. A guy who I follow quite a bit. I definitely watch him every day. Minister Jack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He talk about how a lot of these messages are things that men like himself, Angry Man, Tommy Sotomayor, and the like have been talking about for years. But it seems as though when you have a woman who is attached to it, that's the only time that it can really get through. And how he also talk about how you won't share my content because you scared that your chick or you scared that your mama, your auntie is going to have a certain view of how you look to them.
Mm-hmm.
But you can share a JPT, or you can share a Melanie King, or you can share a Courtney Michelle, you can share a Danica Marie, and now you can have a discussion because it's coming from the lips of a woman, and now it's more palatable. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When you got a man calling a woman a bitch and hoes and basically barbershop talk, what I'm
Yeah.
saying, how men talk, whatever, it comes off harsh and offensive. But like a wise man told me, one can't tell the truth if you're not willing to be offended. So the thing about it is, if you're not willing to be in a position where you're willing to hear the truth, and especially like I kind of see like both sides from it, like, but more so in the sense of like, if I'm gonna take advice, because I don't really have beef with the whole like Pearl things, but you know what I'm saying, I do admit that she probably shouldn't have had that conversation with Nick Fuentes. You feel what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, I would rather much hear from guys like Minister Jab, like a Coach Greg Adams, you know what I'm saying? Like a Thomas Sotomayor, guys who actually went through experiences that I've went through myself, because it's more relatable, because it's like, damn, like this individual has actually been through what I've been through before. So it's not like, okay, I'm by myself in this. And you kind of have to also understand too that when certain individuals come into a certain space, you kind of have to question, all right, does this person really have my best interest at heart? Or is this just a thing that, you're just trying to capitalize on for the moment?
So, slavery being embellished, how do you feel about that comment, though?
I mean,
I'm asking Brad. I'm
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
ask Brad. He said he didn't
Okay.
have a issue with
Like
just
my thing with the embellishing part, like, all right, so based on what she said, like, if you watch the interview or whatever, she said that, she recognized that it was a bad thing. But I think she was trying to go off of what, because for those who didn't watch the interview, she basically made a reference to Alex Haley. Alex Haley is the author of the Roots miniseries. And basically, like, he's quoted, saying that he wanted to basically make a myth of his people, because you can actually look this up. Like, granted, yes, slavery was an horrific event, but as far as the things that he wrote in the book or whatever was fabricated.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So when she talked about the whole embellishing thing, like, even when you look in history, there are certain things that on the horrific side. And I don't know if you could ever look at, what I'm saying, like chattel slavery as a positive,
Mhm.
but there are things that in history they, what I'm saying, kind of like skew or whatever, as far as like people involvement in it, what I'm saying, things of that nature. So when it comes to the whole embellishment part, it's just like, let's just keep it real, man. When you have, white people talking about chattel slavery, it's always going to be a sensitive thing, because people still going to look at it as, even though you're not a direct participant in it, you're still a beneficiary of it. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, yeah, bro, like, nah.
But does she have the right to say anything about slavery? And if she's around nothing, and see, this is the issue that I have with the statement. You're around so many black people and you profit off of so many black people, issues, relationships, participants coming on your show, special guests that are black. You don't think it's kind of brain dead to say, even if you're reading something or get it from somewhere else. You don't think it's brain dead, you as a white woman, to say that slavery was embellished?
I think it is a bit, what I'm saying, insensitive for her to, use the words embellishment when it comes to the idea of chattel slavery,
Hmm.
especially when you understand, how long it went on, the things that went on, how shit to a degree we're still, saying dealing with the ramifications from it of this day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people, they're talking about the whole like freedom of speech and censorship and people being able to have certain conversations and things like that is coming up. And it's one of those things where, you had to kind of ask yourself, like, we all talk about certain things that we don't necessarily have like a direct correlation with. So it's kind of like one of those things where you had to ask yourself, like, can we talk about anything? You know? But I think when you have a conversation like that, you got to have more people who have more of a direct correlation with that instead of a person that, what I'm saying, is just kind of like detached from it.
Well, I'm gonna say this. Shout out to Tommy. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit that thumbs up bell so you can get the notified when we go live every time. But when it comes to who she was having the conversation with, two white people speaking on racism, that's even more brain dead to me, especially someone that's supposed to be a known racism and racist. And I don't know what you're trying to get out of the conversation, because the little parts that I did see before it was taken down, it didn't seem like that was a fruitful conversation. It wasn't a conversation of understanding. It wasn't even a conversation of like trying to figure out why he was, racist and stuff.
Yeah.
And even so much so, the when just Pearl was like, "I wish you the best," and the other girl like, "I don't wish you the best. I don't wish racism best." And he just joking, playing like, they disown you because you date a black guy, like that type of stuff. You can't. I just feel like we can't allow anybody to have those conversations. Now, granted, I do think those conversations should be had if we're going to have a conversation about how we could bridge the gap between um black people and white people. But it's like, do we go back to like separating ourselves from them, or are we here to stay where we are integrated now?
Um,
Go ahead.
Oh,
Come on.
I mean, I disagree 100%. It'd be like saying, are those lions wrong for eating that gazelle? We look, see, we got a whole misconception of racism. We have a total misconception of what racism is. Racism is the law of nature, is survival of the fittest. Racism is just a category or a certain political I would say diagram that's used to, say what's wrong and what's right. When you break down racism, it's really genetics. If I see two white people talking about racism or slavery, it's not saying they don't need to be talking about it. This is who they are. We need to see them talking about it.
Mhm.
It's when we put ourselves in their mix, thinking that we're going to change who they are. If you look at slavery, something that was going on, and it's way more than 400 years, for a race of people to do that to another race of people for that length of time, it is not a something that just happened and it was a mistake. That is who they are. The same way if you throw meat in a lion's den, they're going to eat it. It is nature. We as black people and black men have been weak. See, racism was basically a whole historical event that classified us to be the bottom tier. We're trying to fight out of that class to get to the top tier, thinking that we're equal, especially when it came to the civil rights with integration. We'll never be seen as equal.
Right.
The,
I agree.
the reason why black women use white male status as the barometer of success, the white male status as the barometer of what black men should be and what should do, it is not because their economic advantage. It is not because their economic status. It is their propensity to exert extreme levels of violence to meet their objective. Until black men get on that type of time, you will never get the respect white men get, because white men will do anything to stay at the top. The same way the greats do anything to win, while Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, was getting to practice 3 hours earlier to run 2 miles to beat his team, to be the best on his team, Michael Jordan to be the best on his team. If you're not willing to do what is necessary, you won't be at the top. It is a sacrifice. So they can speak about whatever they need to. Black people going up to sign up, doing these contracts with this white woman, that's a shame on them because they saw opportunity to make a dollar. They don't have no sense of integrity, no sense of moral, no sense of true history because they're another generation removed from slavery. You got this critical race theory. They trying to remove all of this in class. They're not teaching what really happened in slavery, the devil's punch bowl,
Right.
men getting their feet chopped off, sodomized, butt breaking in front of their families. Imagine you saying slavery wasn't that bad, and just so happened the ancestor come down from heaven and show you this what happened to me, this what happened to my granddad, this what happened to my uncle, and these are your relatives. This what happened, and they show it to you in graphic nature. You would change your stance. Black men and black women will change their stance if
That's
they was to see this.
that's why I feel as if white people shouldn't speak on it all in the manner that it was
Why?
spoken
Why
on.
not?
Because they trying to act like, I feel like when they trying to speak on it in the manner that they were speaking on it as, they was trying the same thing, get rid of critical race theory, trying to, oh, it wasn't that bad. Don't blame me for my ancestors that, was, doing all this evil stuff to us. That type of manner is kind of, people will see that, and some people be like, oh, well, maybe racism wasn't that bad. You know what I'm saying? And then get tricked or bamboozled to really think it wasn't that bad. But in all actuality, it was bad.
Race, they should speak on it because this is who they are. They can have all this colorful language, act like they're not this. It's just like a lot of people had the misconception that white people don't like black people. They're not going to hire you. They hire slaves.
Yeah,
they had people. The slaves had all the trades when at the abolishment of slavery. The slaves were
that's why
all
you had unions.
yeah. All this is where all the unions and stuff came from. The
Yeah.
black men had these skills and trades. So white men said, "Well, we have to get this work done. We have to maintain economics." That's why the black woman, and if you look at the Willie Lynch letter, the black woman was the greatest dynamic of economics in this country, which is why all the marketing is catered to women, all of the resources and the benefits are catered to women because we have to maintain the primary source. If you look at the power grids, you look at the most protected jewels, the most protected systems, they have all this security, the White House, all this security, because the most valuable things lie within that security. So they're going to have all the safe havens for women. They're going to have all of the excuses for women because despite what they do or say, these are our most valuable assets. They're going to indoctrinate the children with what we want them to be indoctrinated with. They're going to work. They're going to do as told. Men are naturally rebellious, so they can't get the same fruits from men that they can get from women. So when white people are having these conversations about slavery and all of this, we can't be emotional because that is who they are. We have to step in when black Sambos try to make excuses for the racism or try to ingratiate themselves in the racist section as if they're going to be protected and have some type of comfort economically, physically, and other.
So with everything that went on with these past interviews and people getting fired from podcasts that's ran by white people, how do y'all feel about what you just said, the sound bowls that's taken up for the racist actions or things that are being said, or saying that black people are too sensitive, or like an Anton Daniel saying, hey, y'all just need to outwork her, when does principles and morals kick in and come to play to where we're not playing with people, playing with our name and playing with who we are?
You got to make examples. Examples must be made. Retaliation must be swift. Retaliation must be swift, and it must be direct. The black man, you step on my J's or you say something about me in a song, you do this, you got all these black dudes talking about I got the sticks and the switches and all that. They ready to murder your whole family.
Yeah.
George Zimmerman walking around here like ain't shit going on.
Yeah, but
the white police come around, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, officer, sir.
Yeah,
tucking their tail like a bitch.
But with George Zimmerman, I'm gonna say this, and I always say this: if George Zimmerman did didn't slap him, why should we?
Trayvon Martin. I'm not saying we should. Yeah. I'm saying when we see this when we see this happen, the black man is gonna be looked at as weak.
Yeah,
this man killed your son and auctioning off the gun, doing signings, appearances, antagonizing the family. When that is looked at upon, that's why I say people think what they do don't affect the next. Yeah. If I have bastard children that affects this world.
Mm-hmm.
If I have bastard children, which I have no direction, no guidance for, that's going to affect somebody else, because that unguided child is going to grow up to be a menace and may grape someone's daughter, may rob someone, may do a home invasion. You hear all these crazy stories about these kids catching bodies.
Yeah.
There was a story the other day. 18-year-old got shot and killed trying to steal a goddamn Toyota Corolla because they was unguided.
Yeah.
They weren't directed. They didn't have no identity. Because if they did, they wouldn't be out trying to steal $9,000 cars.
Yeah, because that's stupid.
And you lose your life for it.
Yeah, that's stupid. Or did you hear about the woman that was 7 months pregnant trying to rob somebody?
I heard about that. Yeah, and kill. Yeah,
Yeah.
see, we as black people have to bring back shame, morals, and those principles that our great granddaddies used to have.
Yeah.
Now you can walk around with a dress. You don't see white men wearing dresses. You don't see Mexicans wearing dresses. You don't see Asian men wearing dresses and skirts, lipstick, talking about my son I'm about to make my son a girl.
Can y'all think of a family right now that's pushing their child to be the forefront of some trans shit like Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union? Can y'all think of one?
The closest thing I could think of is Angelina Jolie. Like Angelina Jolie, because she more so has like adopted kids.
Yeah.
That's different then.
But
and they black too?
Oh,
someone like me. They not.
Yeah,
they not.
The one that she was pushing was an African boy, I think. He was trying to make it.
The kid that she had with Brad Pitt,
Charlize Theron.
The kid that she had with Brad Pitt. Now she, you know what I'm saying, she ain't really pushing it, but like she ain't, because they had a daughter.
Yeah.
But the way that the daughter going, like you gonna tell, like, yeah, she gonna be butch when she get
older. So it's a daughter that's trying to be. I knew it was something, but like I said, they're not trying to curtail it from it happening though.
It's not all over the media either.
No,
it's not. Yeah. It's not plastered on the media like Dwayne Wade.
Well, when it first happened, it was, and I was like, why they go and adopt this little black baby and then trying to put them out like that? That's what I thought.
No, I'm talking about their own side, their own children.
Oh no, they don't do their own.
Yeah, exactly. So why is Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union the face of this type of shit? Because you have to keep black men in a dumb. I said this before. You have the likes of Shaquille O'Neal, Dwight Howard, LeBron James, 6'9", these 6'10" monsters walking around cheesing and grinning. What if they was on that type of time Huey P. Newton was on? White folks be around this bitch scared in the motherfucker.
What if they weren't even just on that type of time? What if they were just literally around here procreating, making those type of individuals, and we had a system in place like a rites of passage, and you had those type of guys ready to go to war?
That same thing.
That's what we're missing.
That's what we talking about. Like we the only people that don't believe in violence, and violence is not just physical.
Yeah,
violence is financial. Violence is all type of violence.
Mm-hmm.
But we try to incorporate ourselves and we try to fit in. We looking for something. We look, and when it comes to money, we will sell out the next black man for $1.
I think we got to the point now we beat down so bad, our eyes closed. We don't know where to go. We can't see, we can't see up. We can't look around. We don't know which direction we should go. We've been beat down so bad to the point where when you do have conversations about racism and the atrocities that actually happen, a lot of black people, they feel uncomfortable, especially if you had these conversations around white people. And I'm like, why y'all feel a way to have this conversation around white people when their ancestors did it? When they have, I was in high school and the white dude used to make a joke about how his granddaddy used to have a wizard, the Grand Wizard KKK outfit framed up in their house.
Exactly. Racism is natural. It is a political label that has been commercialized. But when you break it down, you look at nature, lions and hyenas. Lions practice, if you want to look at in the animal kingdom, is racism. If you ain't no lion, you can't come in this pride.
Yeah.
Me and a hyena ain't sitting down sharing a steak and working and co-oping.
Yeah. Or even if it's the same type of bird but different colors. Certain birds don't, like a red robin,
I ask you a question right now. How many Asian friends you had? You ever had in your life?
Asian friends?
Asian friends. You went to their house, they came to your house. Y'all talk on the phone.
No.
How many about you? How many people y'all know brought around, this my Asian best friend? No. Why you think that's by coincidence?
No, I don't think it's by coincidence. Yeah, also, I know that two things. I know they don't. Where we at just location
Yes,
wise,
yeah, the
and
region.
then but if we were just talking about like white people, I don't know a lot of white people that even done like that.
How many Asians have you saw at the gas station or the grocery store shopping?
I can't think of one.
How many Asians you seen in the Galleria shopping in H&M? You don't see them because they stick to their own.
Yeah,
The same way the lions stick to their own, and hyenas stick to their own, and wolves stick to their own. We're the only fools walking around this bitch thinking we don't have enemies.
yeah.
So they use this social propaganda to diminish our value and diminish our image to look at it to be looked at as weak. This is why 6'4" George Floyd can be killed by a little bit of white boy
Mm,
when he's standing up looking like a NFL defensive end.
yeah.
This is why we're done this way. We're lost, and this is intentional. So until we get that mindset, and this not me trying to antagonize a war, any kind of violence against white folks. This is understanding how you have been perceived and how you have been conditioned to be weak.
Yeah.
Which is why Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and all these others, you see them in commercials standing at 6'9", 6'10", 220, can run faster than a deer, wearing a goddamn dress and a skirt and lipstick.
Or like Magic Johnson's son, big ass son, and shit like that.
Yeah.
Well, Lamar Jackson. Is Lamar Jackson a product of racism, of how they doing him with his contract and stuff like that?
Facts, because he don't have a white man attached to that dollar. He want to represent himself, but they want white men to get 10 to 15%. So how is he a standout stud, but now all of a sudden no teams are taking interest in him? Same
Right.
way they did Colin Kaepernick, blackball, because you ain't letting a white man get a piece of that pie. And you setting a dangerous precedent for our league, because other black players that's about to come into this draft next year and the year after, they're gonna be self-represented.
Mm-hmm.
And that's gonna be a transference of wealth to the black family. So they're gonna come up with new stipulations, new skill sets. They're gonna make it more difficult to black men to get into these leagues, because they don't have a white person in their pocket monitoring and seeing how this money being spent.
I think they go back to why they made like the NBA. You got to go to college now.
Exactly,
You got to think how many people is coming out of college, multi-millionaires, 18 years old. Now you go into the league. You got to be what, 2 years in the NBA and
Shit,
college?
you can go to you go to the G League.
Oh yeah,
You go to the G League and be coming out making $500K.
Oh, they making that much in G League?
If you top dog, like that's you pretty much the top dog, right? So you'll do a year in the G League. All right, you go to NBA now.
Yeah, you damn near could be on a 2-way contract.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I ain't know that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they like, yeah, some of them like, yeah, you ain't gotta go to college. You gonna probably do a year in the G League.
Yeah.
Just ask yourself, how do you have the Jay-Z's, Dr. Dre's, P. Diddy's, Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey? Man, it's $10 billion of buying power. Why don't we have? But you got Oprah doing schools in Nigeria, in Africa, but no schools in Chicago when these young black boys getting slaughtered every day. Where's Barack Obama?
My brother's
Where he at?
He probably around there with his
So you
boyfriend.
mean to tell me you got these, my brother's keeper, these initiatives while you in presidency, but the moment you get out of that, all that shit just go away.
Right.
You become silent.
Like, I agree, and it's crazy that, you know what's even more crazy is like when you have, after Barack Obama, you have a Donald Trump and a Joe Biden, and people are talking about Donald Trump being racist. And I'm like, bruh, the person that was the most racist was the black man that was in office that didn't help you get ahead. Even though he's the president for everyone, he could have signed a lot of stuff. Just think about the Asian hate bill that was signed.
You can't be racist unless you practice racism. The same way, say, man, that man violent. Show me who I hit.
You could. This is what I say. You can practice racism. I believe.
You can't.
But this is my personal opinion. I believe everybody could be racist.
I'm gonna tell you. Can I
Everybody
be
have a
violent
preference.
if my whole life is documented?
Yeah.
And they say I'm violent. Show me on paper where I exerted violence.
That's saying that Malcolm X used to say.
Can you show me what makes me violent? If man, that man a dummy. He got all A's on his report card.
Yeah.
But because you say I'm a dummy, but my report card shows otherwise, how am I a dummy when I got all A's?
But if you are participating in something like racism, like I said,
like what? What's
I'm finna say, if me and you was in a fight, right? But I beat your ass, and you just keep getting beat down and you don't get a lick on, but you try to threaten my life or say something, just because I'm been training longer than you, it doesn't mean you didn't participate in the fight. It just means I'm better at it than you.
That's something different. We talking about an
That
ideology that
and I
has to
think,
have, it has to have some evidence of
but
the
hold on,
ideology.
okay, but if you want to take it to where there was violence, even when white people came into Africa, we got stories of the Shaka Zulu where they were violent because these people didn't look like them. So
that's protection. That's not the same.
but my thing is, because somebody looks different than you and you said where's the violence, that would be the same. Because like I say, if racism is just simply you don't like somebody because of their skin color. Now people like to add the caveat where you got to have the power to do something, but I don't have to like you.
I think we confuse prejudice and racism. They're not the same.
Why not?
Prejudice and racism is a practice of behaviors. It's not an ideology. Prejudice is an ideology. That's a thought. I don't like this person for ignorant reasons. That's prejudice. I'm going to be prejudiced against them. Racism, you have to exert a behavior.
So
just like I'm a violinist, I'm a pianist. How am I a pianist without touching a piano? How am I a violinist without being able to play a violin and playing it?
So if a black man say right now, because we have cases of black man say I don't like white people, or
that's
white
not racism,
and he go kill somebody.
That's racism because he he displayed a behavior.
Okay, but
you can't show what Barack Obama displayed a behavior.
But that's on a mass scale, because lately we've been having a lot of people, black people, they can show are doing stuff to white people just because.
Name them.
They got stuff on there. Oh, we can look it up.
But we can find it. But what I'm saying, to be racist, I have to show racist behaviors, not thoughts and speech. After you have to look at my rap sheet and say you did this on this day, this on this day, this on this day. Prejudice and racism is not the same.
I feel like they go hand in hand.
I'm not saying they go hand. They're not related, but they're not the same.
I feel like they go hand in hand, and I feel like just because if I practice something that you practice, but
prejudice is prejudged. That's pretty much what that word. I mean, I prejudge you based on notions I don't have no idea on.
Right, and
racism is I'm familiar with what you are, which is prompting me to behave in a manner because of what I know prior to. Prejudice means I'm prejudging you without knowing nothing about you.
But so that means prejudice doesn't have to do anything with skin tone.
It can. I could be prejudiced against a midget. I mean, I could be prejudiced against somebody that I just don't like, for unknown reason. I could be prejudiced against people who wear hats, dress a certain way. Racism has to be practiced. It's a behavior. It's not the same as prejudice.
So you telling me black people don't behave in prejudice stuff?
They don't behave in racism.
Hold on, in racism and not liking people, or maybe cut somebody off track. I know those are small, but just they don't. You telling me they don't do anything, any microaggressions toward white people because of stuff that happened?
I'm not saying that don't happen
now. And the reason that it can't be on a mass scale, because you're participating in something that you're trying to do now, but you've been beat down so long that you can't. It's somebody so far ahead of you, so advanced. It'll never be a time where you can actually topple somebody that's been doing something 400 years before you. It's just you could participate. Just like I said, if we participate in the fight, if you squared up with me and I beat your ass right now, you participated by beat your ass and beating your ass for 400 years. Just because I beat your ass, you're gonna say, "Oh, I wasn't in the fight." No,
there's a thing called defense and offense. If I'm standing on the corner drinking a soda and you come to me, I'm defending myself. So even if I engage in it or not, that's not the same.
But they're still in the same game because you got defense and offense.
If I'm minding my business and you come to me, you're the aggressor. I'm defending myself. That's not the same.
Yeah, but
not the same.
But so let's talk about like if you come on my land and you got people that do defend themselves, and then we happen to go captive, we lost in something where we were defending ourselves.
But if you would have never came on my land, would we had an encounter? If I was standing on this corner and you never came to me, exactly.
No, we wouldn't.
Exactly.
But at the same time, that's a hard thing to say because we still even practice tourism and stuff. Now, granted, tourism is not going to take somebody, but how do you know that this person is coming on this land to do
Sure.
something, because actually when you look at history of I mean, people come to people land, it was sent like missionaries or sent to learn
That's not tourism. That's a scout.
right. But I'm saying like, so that's how I'm just saying, just like how tourism is, you don't know what this intention of this person coming onto my land is.
Yeah, you don't know until they show, until they display signs and behaviors of aggression. What I'm saying is, black people don't have the tools or resources to practice racism. We don't have a military. We don't have a firm economic base to redline white folks the same way they did us. We don't have Jim Crow laws. We don't have systems like the police force, which is a pretty much a derivative of slave patrol. We don't have these systems, so therefore we cannot practice racism as a whole. In order to practice racism, you have to have a collective with the same mindset, showing the same behaviors.
So it's the people in Africa that's doing all the stuff to white people because they have the systems in place and the leaders and stuff like that. Would they be racist?
Doing what?
Like what is it, apartheid and shit like that?
What they're doing? What are they doing to white people?
Like they killing them, doing stuff like that.
What
Like,
they doing this to white people at?
In like South Africa?
No,
they're not doing this in South Africa. South Africa is the whitest part of Africa.
Yeah, no,
it's the whitest part.
I just read something about that.
You talking about an isolated incident? 1, 2. South Africa is the whitest part of Africa.
No, I'm just saying. That's what I was read. Like they was having
I get it.
and stuff.
If
like
they
that.
had isolated incidents, that's one thing. But South Africa is the whitest part of Africa. It was the most colonized and the most Christian indoctrinated part of Africa. That's not the same as a group of Europeans killing off Native Americans, millions, killing off the animals that the Native Americans feed on. Yeah. That is racism, because they're exhausting all avenues and options to defeat a people, not a few individuals, a people. The same way they did with the 13th Amendment. Well, we can't have chattel slavery anymore, so we will create the prison industrial complex, which is why 72% of the people incarcerated are black, or it's like 6 to 8%.
Yeah,
people of color.
They are taking a land back that was granted through apartheid, I guess.
Exactly. So if they're taking back, that's not racism. They're taking back what's rightfully theirs.
But that's what I read about the land and shit.
So we can agree to that, but that's not the same as I'm coming on these people's land without no intent other than to destroy you and burn down what you have and build what I want to on top of it, the way they did America.
Yeah.
So it's a totally different ball game.
So y'all saying everywhere in the world is racist?
It's racism everywhere because it's natural. We just are too ignorant to understand this.
So is there any time that black people are going to be racist?
It will. Oh, it's coming. Absolutely. Because the tables always turn.
Yes, they say that every group has had their turn, like in the sun, though, as far as like, having people captive and being in power. And so that they say a long time ago we was empowered, and now they're saying that white folks in power. So it is kind of like shit, whoever gets it next, you know what I'm saying?
Two things cannot occupy the same space. So in order for me to be in power, I have to dominate those who, or destroy or defeat who is in power, because they're not going to let me get in power without being defeated. This is why war takes place. You have wartime. We're right now pretty much in a wartime with this dollar being pretty much crippled, and people don't understand. That's why I say we're uneducated as to what the world really, how the world works. We can't even get right with our women. So how the hell we gonna know what the fuck the world, how the world really works? We don't even know how the relationship work no more. We defeated.
Yeah.
Until we come out of that defeated mind state, it's going to continue to happen, because we're gonna keep. This is why you look at all our shows. What's our most popular shows right now? Power,
drug shows,
EMF, and what is it? And what is it showing? Black people killing black people, black death, black ignorance, black destruction. Yeah, It is a reason for that. Music. You listen to the music, and how is it that the music and the television looks and sound the exact same? Same message, same look, same everything.
Push.
It's not by coincidence. And these people saying, well, he paid me $1 million for it. Okay, we paid you $1 million to sell out your people.
So that's the question. That's the $1 million question: is when do we come back to not being sold out?
When we ready to die and kill for some. You ain't ready to do that. It'll just be conversation pieces.
That's what it seems like now.
It just be conversation pieces.
That we just having a lot of conversation and a lot of people ain't ready to ride. But it'll be hard to get to that point where a lot of people, well, they did a number on this. Like I said, I don't ever think black people ever be in a position. This is my personal opinion. I think it's too late. And the reason I think it's too late is because what you said about just that relationship aspect and how so many women have gotten hold of the men and their mindset and what they're trying to do. Um, how a lot of how they trying to push this gay agenda,
Facts.
how they're trying to push the young boys that's in school with this ADHD medicine and stuff like that, to put them on Ritalin. How we got, like I said, the boys in the dresses, or even the way we speak. Y'all ever notice how they try to curve the way we speak to each other now? The communication, how we speak to each other is different. We can't say certain derogatory terms when we're referring to certain people now. Certain groups are more powerful than other groups, depending on who you like to have sex with.
Yeah.
And they control us a lot with sex so much too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
What's crazy, bro, is like, America, or I guess the West in general, is trying to like autocorrect, the atrocities of child slavery, that is open up this Pandora box of trying to, correct the wrongs of every other thing, right?
yeah.
So first it started with racism. But then when they saw that, black folks was, united and stuff like that, and then getting, organized and things like that. But what they wasn't intending on, and this is probably, like, some people had a conspiracy that this is one of the reasons why MLK was assassinated, was the fact that he was like, damn, yeah, we get integration, but we don't have the power of the dollar on our side. So when he was participating with the work, the trashman, like, picketing in Memphis or whatever, that was one of his plans of like trying to get like economic power, on our side, that was one of like his last speeches, to talk about getting a piece of that dollar, And so when they saw that shit, they were like, oh hell no, like, I mean, we'll let y'all, integrate and go to school with us, but we ain't finna let y'all get that dollar too.
We can't finance your revolution. Marcus Garvey. That's what Martin Luther King got a lot of his ideology.
And so then when you do that, and then you go into, the Nixon administration, and this is documented, like one of his aides was like, oh no, we gotta change this from racism. We gotta make this about gender, and gotta make this about sexuality. And bro, once the 70s hit, bro, it was a wrap. You gave more freedom to, other disenfranchised groups, quote unquote. You feel what I'm saying? And you gave them power that they never had before. They had just been snowballing since the 70s, and you're seeing the effects in real time. You talk about groups that really didn't have a say. Now, shit, if you talk about these particular groups, oh shit, you get canceled.
Cancel real quick.
Feminism was the undertone and the safety net for the civil rights movement, where they're gonna eventually, it's inevitable for them to not talk about the dollar. So let's throw feminism in there. So now you got women thinking they're equal to men, thinking they can talk crazy to men, not respecting men because they got the same economic opportunities. You had what was it, affirmative action?
Yeah.
And all of this diversity and inclusion. Like when I was in corporate America, I used to just look at the dynamics and the demographics on our team, and it hit everything for the status quo. You had a certain amount of black, certain amount of white, and female male to ratio. It was usually 4 males to 5 females. This is a few corporate companies I work for. It was the same. I said, man, they really practicing this. It's really what it is. Like, you can't get away from it.
So you saying in corporate America, they was what now?
Basically, when they made the diversity and inclusion, meaning if I apply for a job, right, and I look to my left and it's a woman, in the corporate eye, we're the same. Mm-hmm. So imagine what it does psychologically. This is why I have a degree in psychology. This is what I was always been intrigued by the mind. If I'm working with a woman 8 hours a day, something like 8 to 12 hours a day, she's sitting next to me. Over time, she's going to look at herself as equal to better than me, because what do you have at work? Midterm evaluations. She did better. She outworked you. Her numbers were better than yours.
Yeah.
You keep saying that. Well, I'm better than him. So why do black women all of a sudden feel that they're better than black men?
Go ahead.
That remind me of that
black lady. Y'all seen that black lady with the glasses, talking about how she left her husband because she held a senior position at work,
Exactly.
and then she come home thinking she could run it at home, and she's like she was basically dumb because she left her husband looking for a man to basically make more money than her, but her body count was going up, but her value was going down. And then she said she looked back and she really just should have stayed with her husband.
I mean, bro, that was part of the plan, man. To basic, I mean, 'cause for one, man, when you have a civilization that makes it so easy for what I'm saying, the the weak agenda to move around and to have prestige and privilege, you get to a position where you put them on this pedestal to where, like Chris said, you're around them so much and y'all doing the same things and y'all looking eye to eye instead of having the natural order of things to where you got man, woman, child, to where now, oh shit, like I'm looking at you dead in the eye instead of looking up to you. So I feel like, shoot, we on the same playing field.
Facts.
Not understanding that our roles, even just through our biology, is going to forever be different, but it comes together so that it makes a greater whole. But when you think that your half is more than sufficient, you're going to think in your mind like, oh, I don't need this other half. I'm complete without this other half.
Yeah.
So you're going to try to make 50%, suffice versus joining another 50 and being 100. But
that's the part. That's the part that don't even add up.
Facts.
The math ain't math. You mad? You leave you make 80. Your husband make 50, right? But you mad that you make 80, and now you're gonna leave and lose 50.
Thinking you're gonna find 200.
that part.
Thinking you're gonna find something better than what you already have.
That's crazy.
That part.
The math ain't fucking mathing, and this is the people that we let be the head of a household.
This is why when you correlate,
This is the people that we let run households. We let run young boys and young girls to think and have this type of mindset. Why you think these kids don't know how to read?
boys are still reading on a third grade
level. They build prisons on third grade levels.
It's funny you mentioned that because I was watching Obsidian earlier, and basically like they was talking about like you just mentioned about the either between like the third and eighth grade reading level, right? So if most of these kids are coming up in single mother raised households, wouldn't you think that if we really care about the kids, and this is statistically proven, if the men ain't doing their part, if they not raising the kids as they claim that that we're not doing as a collective, then give the man total authority over the child, and let's see what ends up happening when you have these children up under the authority of a father, whether it's in a relationship or whether he's being a single father, and let's see how the chips stack against that of a woman that's raising her kids by herself. And just based off the black and white, a single father a lot of times has the same results as a collective as you had a child in a two-parent household.
That is facts. Because the man can discern emotion from logic. You can't run a house or a business or a family off emotion. You cannot do it. So these women are using these kids as paycheck vouchers. It's a credit. So I can't, even though they can make them, they got their own job and all of this, they're getting child support, they're getting certain subsidies. The kid is on probably SSI, Medicare. They're getting certain subsidies that will otherwise come out of their check. You see? So the black family, man and woman, again, correlating this back to the manosphere and the crumbling of it, is all rooted in the dollar, even though we don't even know what to do with. So you got these dudes, like I used to watch Angry Man, and when he said them comments, I said, nah, I ain't going with that. Unsubscribe. At some point, we have to come into a zero tolerance mind state. You talk about slavery and what our ancestors endured, the vicious by nature, day in and day out, that took place, and you try to diminish that, it has to be met with extreme prejudice, because it paints a dangerous narrative to the world when they say, well, they really acting like this, and the slavery wasn't even that bad. We can treat them a little bit worse. They can take a little bit more beating. It paints a crazy picture. The same way when you got these 6'10", 7 foot black men run around with dresses. we're going to be treated and looked at as weak. When you kill a Tamir Rice at 7 years old because he got a toy gun and nothing happens, what's next? Mike Brown,
Nah,
Donald Sterling.
the one that was crazy, extra crazy. That Tamir Rice is crazy, but the one when that man Philando Castile,
That
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
that one there, bro,
Yes.
bro, I was fucked up behind that because the man told you I got a gun
Can I reach?
for my weapon, and you just unload on that man like that with his
Unload.
kid and his lady in the car.
If again, these are the very things that they want you to see. The same way when they did with Tyree Nichols, making this like a goddamn movie premiere.
That
We're
was
gonna
sad.
show the video at 7 p.m. You ain't never seen that with no white man getting killed.
Nope. But they know, like I said, it all go back to the women are raising these people and emotionalism. And if I release this like a movie premiere and I know I got the streets filled, I understand that I'm gonna have a lot of people riding. I'll just go back to the almighty dollar as well. Because sometimes in those where they set up rides, because they have people to infiltrate a lot of these places to ride and be like, hey, we're gonna set up in this street, because a lot of these guys, these white guys that own these buildings, they have insurance and be ready for y'all to burn it down and stuff like that, so they can get paid as well too. So all of this go back to money. Just think about how big and fast Black Lives Matter ran up $1 billion in 5 years, and then come to find out you got 3 women that don't even like men. Their agenda was to push a lot of homosexuality. That's why every time you look at they rise, it was gay flags everywhere, left and right. And when it comes to certain people in the Democratic Party, depending on what they did and how they moved, they would give them passes and stuff like that. Like, even think about like a Joe Biden when he was running for president, and that lady that came out and said something about him doing something sexual, and they swept that under the rug. All of that go inside of one another. So it's scary that a movement can be infiltrated like that and be used as a ploy for something else, and Black people don't really see that. Hold on, even on the Black Lives Matter website, they said that they was trying to destroy the nuclear family.
Everybody has an agenda except Black people, and everybody agenda includes Black people. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah.
I go back to that interview, and you probably know what I'm finna bring up. So it was 2020, and brother Ice Cube had made an appearance on Cocktails with Queens on Foxhole. So he had like a pinpoint plan for Black America, right? So damn, what's her name? Because I see her face, Claudia Jordan.
Yep.
Claudia Jordan. She made a comment. She was like, Cube, I'm looking through this, this plan or whatever, and I don't see any mention of Black women. And Q kind of looked kind of perplexed, like it's like Black people that encompass Black men, Black women, Black children. No, Bill Kapaz said, no, Q, you know how they be. Nah, you gotta have some for us. And he was just kind of looking like, are y'all that motherfucking slow, bro?
But you know what she was saying? We not with y'all.
Facts.
That's what exactly what she was saying. We not with y'all.
And said, you know what? And this is something, and it pains me to say this shit, because in a past life, I used to ride hard for Black women, bro.
Yeah.
But it's to a point now, and it's not to say that there's not some Black women who I still rock with, but I'm really starting to believe, even when you look back on history, like it's a book that I want to read that Dennis Sperling brought up on one of his podcasts. It's called Daughters of the Trade. You know what I'm saying? How they kind of help with the translated slave trade is real deep. But I'm really starting to believe that our women have never been our women. Even when you think about the transportation of them from the slave coast over to America, they wasn't here for us. You feel what I'm saying? They were still as tools of child slavery. You feel what I'm saying? And then even when you talk about, the power dynamic, you know what I'm saying? I think Black women as a collective, they only deal with us because we're the only group of men who will tolerate them. But I really think that if Black women really appeal to many men, I really think that the majority of them will be with white men.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to look at During slavery and right out of slavery, we had the highest marital rates recorded.
85%.
85% marital rate. This you got to the point the black man and the black woman had such a admiration and a love for one another that they would sneak and get married, have hidden ceremonies to get married. Slave master couldn't know this because y'all about to create a family. And when they found it out, they had a child, they sent their child off, sent the woman off, sent the man off separate ways. You're not going to have no black family. But slowly we come out of that. Feminism, you got the welfare system. Now you have the most out of 25%. It's going to go low. It's going to be 15%. In the next 5 years, 15% of black women will be married. That's about 1 out of what? 12?
Yeah.
Something like
1
that.
out of 13. It's not going to be pretty. And you got this. This is how you have movements. See, men have the great ability of adapting. See, what happens is women evolve. Evolution can be a choice or a result of bad decision unknowingly. Men intentionally adapt. This is why you have the Black Manosphere. Rest in peace. It'll be a spinoff. It'll be another space that will come in this place. Passport bros. White men are the original passport bros.
Facts.
They're the original because they have to see what's going on globally. They go out to these other countries to see how they can extort these other countries economically. Take it back to where they from. Say, hey, they got this going on over there. We need to go set up this over here. Woo, woo, woo. So we the only ones that don't have an agenda. We're looking for pleasure. The only reason black women tolerate black men because we got the biggest dicks.
Yeah.
We're gonna tolerate. We got the swag. We got the look. We have the bravado, but we don't have the status and the mental strength to exert violence when necessary. So they'll let white daddy pay them, but you gotta sleep with me until I'm tired of sleeping
But
with
that's
you.
how it was in slavery.
Yeah.
Just it was just doing the same thing over and over. It's we looping at this point. You know what I'm saying? And the question you got to ask yourself: when will it change? If it will change, how long will it take? And like I said, to me personally, I think it's too late. I think it's been so much going on, and then you got to ask yourself, how do you tell a person that they're sick when they don't know they're sick?
Yeah. It's a condition.
You show them.
Yeah.
And what we talked about, we talked about this. I have the solution. I'm not gonna say it on air because I'm not. I think we have a disadvantage and we make the biggest mistake is telling the world I play goddamn playbook. I'm not gonna give you the playbook no more. We'll talk about it off air, but I got the solution. We talked about it off air, but yeah, we show our hand too much. We tell what we're gonna do. We make our moves noticeable, and we telegram. We let the world know what we're gonna do. White folks ain't tell. Hey, y'all know we about to go. We about to go over and send Ukraine. They already when we get the reports that they just sent.
They already been doing it.
It's already been wired. It's already been sent.
Yeah.
They sent. We just sent $2 billion in aid. That shit was sent 4 months ago.
Yeah.
That shit was sent 4 months ago. But it's just again, black men. These spaces we have, we don't want to protect them because the moment somebody comes in with a dollar or a pretty face, the manosphere have women talking about dating as if they're gonna give men the secrets to dominate them or to get the edge.
That's stupid.
That don't even make sense.
Right.
60 Goddess, Danica Marie, they're not gonna tell you how to dominate me. Hey, this how you dominate me and get me to submit to you. Why the fuck would they do that?
Right.
It puts them at a disadvantage.
It's crazy.
Right. Especially when they done fought so hard. Or like I said, they think they're in a position of power and they sick, but they don't see it.
Power would never be given to you. You have to take it.
Yeah.
If you ain't willing to take it, you're not gonna get it.
Well, that's why I say, like, even our relationships nowadays with our women, that shit sad. That shit is sad as fuck.
Yeah, it's a sad time. Man.
To love the women they meet overseas.
What's the
What
comment?
you say? Yeah, just go through some of them comments.
Yeah, time been going off.
Yeah.
The passport bros have more.
That's facts.
The storm is changing.
But here's the thing with the passport bros, and this is something that people don't really talk about. See, we think of Western culture as just being something that's a North American phenomenon, but it's making its way to many parts of the world to the point where you even got Muslim states that are now trying to adopt Western mindsets. So a lot of these guys, they got to watch out and beware, man. That a lot of these places where they think that, oh, traditionalism and patriarchy still runs supreme. Like a lot of these in like individual areas are being conquered as well.
Go up, say, go to Alex comment up top. What they say?
It says no sis.
Down.
That was the last one.
Nah, the other one. Up under that.
This one.
Alex, what it said? No system. What? Oh, no systems are in place.
I was just there in December.
Yeah, right.
That was, I think, we was talking about Africa.
Okay.
They're taking the land back that was granted.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, the black male image, man, we had to protect it and preserve it. That's why when you think about it, how many female mentoring organizations are running around Birmingham?
I don't know. Is it a lot?
Can't name one.
I don't say I ain't seen none. I know a lot of male organizations to help young boys and stuff like that.
Yeah. So why don't you have the same for young women?
Because
if women are smarter, they got all these resources, making all this money. Why is it not going back into the community?
They think they got it. They
got it together,
and they got a vagina. The vagina that alone helps them out through life a lot better than men.
Thanks. Women will always have safe havens and protect. Just like Black China.
Yeah, but just think about if war was to ensue. What's the first thing they gonna do if the man overtook? They gonna get the fucking.
Yep. They gonna submit.
Yeah, they're gonna submit.
Right. So
the root of that is through what?
Domination, power, violence. Yeah,
violence.
And so, like I said, but like even what you said, like Black China, how is it that our women, all the men, like, man, like I said last night, there's no business like whole business. I don't care if it's in the street or you take it to the church. And then all the women, oh, I'm so glad about her change. Oh, she looks good. She looks amazing. Oh, y'all can't be out here judging. Only God can judge me. Whoop whoop. I have a special relationship with God and all this. I'm like, y'all be saying all this stuff so y'all can't be held accountable.
Exactly.
Right.
So y'all can't be held accountable.
Knowing damn well if a man was to do something to your child and somebody else's child, and he come out and say that same shit, you're not going to listen to it.
Right.
Yeah. You're not going to hear it. You're not going to believe them.
And this is the stuff that our women are saying. And like I was saying, I remember my grandma, I can still think about how my grandma used to call it like it was, and then like, that bitch ain't shit. You know, she's doing that right now, and then she'll be back doing the same thing in 2 months. But now it's like, oh, we just gotta wait and see. Man, we at this point now, especially with a celebrity.
Yeah.
With a celebrity now, it should never be, oh, she changing for the better. We all know what a rebranding looks like.
Facts.
What's she rebranding for? For money.
Facts.
And everybody know. It's so sad that our women love a good whore redemption story.
They love it
because majority of them are whores.
Yeah,
look at the out of birth children. The children out of wedlock shows you this.
I mean,
the abortion rate shows you this.
Yeah.
Why do you think so many women resonate with the whole Sierra Pearl shit? Because a lot of them are in that.
And then that's stupid.
How the hell somebody else prayer gonna work for you?
And then
are you stupid?
Then the motherfucker says she praying to God, but look like what happens when you misuse what God, what you say God give you?
Bro, that's just like what I text you, bro. Like a lot of folks are playing in God's face, man, asking for these blessings, and then when you get these blessings, you show him by using the devil's work.
You said what you said. A lot of people, God's getting the devil's leftovers.
Bro, that's I actually got it from Anton Daniels, ironically. Okay. But like he was just like, why does God always got to get the devil's leftovers? Why can't she already be on that path? You know what I'm saying? For his sake, for his righteousness. You feel what I'm saying?
Facts.
Like we like you said, we always well, nothing to say we.
Hey, if y'all watching, y'all make sure y'all hit the thumbs up button. Give us a like, please. Go ahead.
The black ladies, you know what I'm saying? The black lovely ladies like a good whole redemption story because many of them can, you know what I'm saying, identify with that. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, if you tell a woman, if a woman, say a woman 21, 22 years old, say, I want to get married, I want to have a family. Oh, girl, you too young. You need to live your life. Leave your life. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, you gonna make this girl potentially pile up a whole bunch of bodies,
right?
A whole bunch of trauma,
right?
Become hella hardened, become hella jaded. You know, she's not going to have the ability to be vulnerable with a man because she's always guarded. She's gonna have she gonna have a, you know what I'm saying, like playing cards. She gonna always have her hand up. She's not gonna try to show her hand. So you're creating another version of who you are, lady. Cause you know this is our auntie talk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Women are like delicate. Women should be treated as delicate roses. That advice that old women get a young women is kind of is similar to having a rose in your hand. Hey, put this in your back pocket. Hey, now take it out that pocket. Put it in your front pocket. The more you take it out, it's going to get more damaged. Women do not think of themselves as delicate flowers and roses that they should be. Everybody can't touch you.
Well, how can you think you a delicate flower rose if you're working next to a man every day? I remember
true.
I worked in a plant, bro. I was working in a plant. Summertime, 110 degrees.
Women,
And
right
I got
there.
a woman right beside me doing the same thing, lifting 80-pound boxes. I worked at Hubble Power Systems, and you know, we used to grind on this rock to put stuff on a power line. And if you grind the shit wrong, your hand cut. You ream it wrong, the shit will flip around and break your finger or pop your hand. And women around there doing the same thing men are doing. And these women are hard. Her hands rough, back hunched over because you doing all this. I'm like, how can a woman be feminine doing this?
That mighty dollar.
And you got to think about this. We know testosterone levels go up when you work out, right? So just think about me doing it. It might not be a workout for me, but a woman doing what I'm doing, sitting right there, her testosterone levels probably going up 8 hours, 9 hours a day, just trying to compete and do the same thing I'm trying to do because that's a workout for her. Her lifting 80 pounds ain't as bad as her lifting 80 pounds.
Why you think it's so much promiscuity in women who are in male-dominated fields? When you think about female cops, firefighters, don't even get me started on women in the military.
Ah, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you're around testosterone all day, when you're trying to compete with men all day, your mindset starts to shift from the divine feminine from the divine masculine.
Yeah.
And you start to think like a man.
Well, you know, they feel like they have to think like us or act like us to compete in the dating field so they won't get played.
And that's so I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, that's how
and that's so weird to me because I'm like, bro, like I only I've only heard black women say this. Like I've heard several black women mention to me, they be like, Brad, you know, I'm really a nigga at heart. And
yeah, I hate when them.
I'm just like, why would you think? Why would you think that as a man? Why would you think I would find that attractive? Like, oh yeah, like yeah, bro, she really a man. So I'm really fucking a man with a vagina.
But just think about how many dudes you hear refer to their women or their wives. You know, this my homie right here.
Exactly.
How many men have you heard say this my homie? This like my best friend. This my dog right here.
Hey, it's what Jappy talking about, man.
How many times you heard that?
Man, too many times. It would Jack be talking about all the time on the show, man. He'd be like, you know, I think a lot of men are attracted to transsexualized energy.
He do say that.
You know what I'm saying?
I ain't never heard him. So I don't watch Mr. Jeff.
I like Mr. Jeff. Yeah, I do.
Hey, yeah,
because he has one of the only. His show is 98.9% male. When you get callers in, it's rare that a woman call in. He has a 98.9% male audience. These other guys it's a mix.
Yeah,
you know. But when you look at, that's why I said infidelity is natural. When you put men and women in the same space, it's only a matter of time before that testosterone dominates that estrogen. She's going to naturally become sexually aroused because it's in her nature. Same way monogamy. We practice monogamy. That is not our biological nature. We practice it, which is why, well, are you monogamous? Well, bitch, how you got 8 boyfriends?
Right.
That part.
How, if you monogamous, how are you sharing a man who has children with other women? That's polygamous by definition.
Yeah.
You have children by multiple men. How are you monogamous? When you're something, the laws of nature, it'll be rare that it goes outside of that. Gravity is science. If I wanted to float in this bitch right now, it won't happen. Because it's not natural.
Defies law of gravity.
It defies the law of what it is.
Right.
If I wanted to float, if I say I'm about to float, it's not gonna happen the same way. I'm about to give me a boyfriend. You'll get him 6 months to a year, a couple years. All right, he ain't work, get another one. He ain't work, get another one. And you notice the more boyfriends women get, the shorter the each relationship get.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. She not having 4 7-year relationships. She gonna have one long one, and everything else probably gonna be short. 2 years, a year, 6 months, 3 months. She's gonna start spinning out of control because now you're out of order.
Well, let's talk about, since women are so masculine now. Have y'all heard the rise of women saying they pegging their boyfriends and their husbands?
I seen it, but I'm very picky about what space I get in when on certain conversations because
And but we on social media, and I ain't talking about you in the space where it's readily talked about, but just when you go down your news feed and you started seeing the rise of women talking about they eating men's booty holes,
man,
playing in men booty holes now, or going down and you talking about women talking about, oh yeah, I had a strap on, or going down now and we starting to see a lot more women in polygamous relationships, I guess, or polyamory relationships where they got 2 husbands and
I think
then
it's
them.
is it polygyny?
Polygyny, and then
polygyny is man and multiple wives.
No. What's the one with
polyamory.
No. I think that's
polyandry. It's polyandry.
Okay, and now and then when you look at the husbands, they look a little sweet because the only way 2 men is able to share a woman like that, they got to be kind of feminine. And then also when you think about that, like I had a book on the desk talking about sperm wars, and it was talking about those type of relationships, and it was saying that typically when those relationships go on so long, and let's say the woman gets pregnant and they don't know who fathered the child, somebody becomes envious and jealous, and violence ensues.
Absolutely.
Not too long after that, because like naturally, if you look at like prize animals, we mammals. So if you look at how that works, you want to make sure that you're procreating and you're the dominant one. You know what I'm saying? Because like I just think about me and my wife, like watching my kids grow inside her belly, how I felt towards her, seeing the body change, and the just having my children and understanding, like even just the way she smelled differently. You feel what I'm saying? So it's very personal. So I can only imagine 2 men competing with each other, because you got to think about it. If y'all in the bedroom already, y'all already comparing each other dicks.
Facts.
We did it was a story. I think we talked about the boy, the early morning shooting. The dude killed the other dude. They was running a train on the chick. We talked about this. I'm gonna have to find a story. There was a story. This was not too long ago. We might be able to put it up. 2 young dudes, black, was having sex with one chick. They get into it. One of the dudes killed the other dude after the sex was over. They was running a train on the chick. This out. I forgot where it was, but if you Google it, it's out there.
What you think I need to Google?
I probably go look up man kills other man during I guess you say threesome or sex with women. But yeah, this was 2022. So that confirms what you just said. Women thinking they're gonna have multiple men is not going to work.
Yeah.
December 22 in Baltimore.
Yep, Baltimore.
And
you
gotta think, man, it's not natural for a man, even though, like you said, infidelity is.
One man kills the next morning, says charging dogs.
Damn.
Yep.
So, like you said, like infidelity is a natural occurrence. I still think like with men, like it's not natural for us to knowingly, because a woman gonna do what she gonna do. That's why what I'm saying we design the way we design. But for a man, it's just not natural for a man to want to like openly like share a woman, because you're almost myself. I'm a another man to have access to a woman, not only who I'm involved with, but I'm invested in. You know what I'm saying? It's damn near like saying you got a household and you just gonna leave your door wide open. Just for anybody to come in, walk in. Let's just say you particular about your carpet. They walk in, they got the shoes on, tracking dirt all around you got their household. Then your refrigerator, eating all your food, wearing your clothes, sleeping in your bed, And then we also got to understand too, every time a woman, especially if she allows a man to release his seminal fluids inside of her, she changes. So it's like, do you really want to deal with the fact of like every time you're involved with your woman, she's becoming a different person?
Right.
She's going to change.
And just think about this. I didn't even know this. When I read Sperm Wars, I didn't know if you had three different types of sperm that gets released, right? You have one sperm that's specifically supposed to impregnate the egg.
Mhm.
You have another sperm that the vagina has holes in it, and those sperm go and plug up the holes. And then you have another sperm that specifically fights other sperm
Kamikaze.
that's inside of the woman. So if you have that type of chemical um catastrophe going on where it's fighting other sperms and stuff like that, trying to compete for the egg, ain't no telling what her body going through. I'm gonna share this. Go ahead.
Okay. This speaks to bipolar disorder. Uh, it was an overwhelming percentage of bipolar disorder and diagnosis with women, and basically they found 96% of the women who showed bipolar disorder also had history of promiscuity.
Mm.
Bipolar disorder is nothing more than having multiple men's sperm running inside of you, because when a man releases his sperm into a woman, that is a microchip of everything in him, his spirits, his demons, everything about him. It's like a SIM card.
Jessica Lewis said that's the same thing she was diagnosed with. If you, I listened to her book with my wife. We was riding along to a trip, and she was saying that she was talking about how many men she had slept with, and when she got done with therapy, they had diagnosed her with bipolar.
Why do you think a lot of women end up like their mamas?
Mm.
Personality disorders are passed from mother to child, not from father to child. It's
Mm.
mother to child.
Let's read this. A woman has sex with two men. One man kills the other. The next morning says charging dogs.
Think about this. When we talk about infidelity, not so much as it being natural, it's the environment, which is why if you have a certain relationship with a woman and because I used to work in these call centers and I was a menace. I was Dennis the Menace in that bitch. With ease though.
Yeah.
Not even really applying no pressure. It was easy
Yeah.
to have these women at my after work. It was easy. The easiest women I got went in college. It was at a goddamn job. So you sending your woman to this workplace and this men in there like me and smooth and better and all of this, it's only a matter of time before her biology naturally succumbs to his, because they're around each other. She's looking at his leadership skills. She's looking at his dress, his pheromones. They're going to overwhelm. This is why majority of infidelity happens in the workplace.
Yeah.
Because the longer you're around a man, it is a biological. It's pretty much it's chemistry. This is where you get the whole term chemistry. Chemistry is nothing more than it's natural. You can't teach it. My my testosterone and your estrogen has a certain connection. You can't manipulate it. You can't. It's like this way you get the term phrase love at first sight. That's what that is. It's not about look. It's a chemistry, because my testosterone and her estrogen has met on a perfect accord. It's like hitting a perfect note. Beyonce singing a note ain't gonna sound like Whitney Houston singing the note.
Facts.
That Whitney Houston note sound different.
Yeah.
So when you're in these environments and you're around these women, it's a small amount of men, that's less competition. So if you got the most testosterone running through that bitch more than times out of 10, you getting the most women.
Yeah.
It's so simple, but we make these so complicated because this is a foreign language and foreign topics that we discuss. We don't have it. Fathers are not having these discussions with their son. A lot of the dudes out here on YouTube that say they got a lot of their game, guess what they say they got it from? They goddamn mama.
Yep.
Anthony
Facts.
Spade. He
Facts.
said, my mama gave me the game.
Mm.
Said, not my
Can
dad.
they know?
Yeah, he said, my mama taught me this, not my dad. My mama.
Let me read this real quick. A Howard County man is accused of killing another man in Cockeysville. That's crazy.
Right.
Cockeysville. After a woman had sex with both of the suspects and the victim earlier that day, according to the charging documents. 23-year-old Timothy Bryce of Woodstock, Maryland, faces one charge of first-degree murder and one charge of using a firearm while committing a felony, according to charging documents. According to charging documents, Bryce and the victim, Azarian Antrobosis, I don't know, that's an ugly name, and had sex with a woman at an apartment in Cockeysville earlier in the morning on December 7th. The woman told investigators that the men began to argue with each other later on in the morning. Bryce pulled out a gun and shot Antrobus according to the charging document. Police say that they tracked down Bryce because the woman died 911 while she was in the vehicle with Bryce, according to the court documents. Court documents indicate that no one spoke directly to the 911 operator. The 911 operator overheard a man and a woman talking about a shooting and believed the woman may have been held captive by the man, according to the charging documents. Because of the nature of the 911 call, police believe that the woman may have been in immediate danger and used cell phone tracking information to find the phone. According to the charging documents, police stopped a vehicle near the intersection of Mays Chapel Road and Booley Circle in Cockeysville. According to the court papers, that's when they found Bryce, who said he had a 9mm Glock in his waistband. That's crazy.
That's crazy. Ain't it? It's nature, bro. The same way you got two lions in there, they gonna fight over that woman.
Yeah.
And the dominant is gonna win. And the less dominant either will be killed or exiled. He gotta go.
Yeah.
It's nature, bro. We got so many ideologies, and I think one big problem with our women, and not just our women, as far as black, when I say women in this land, and just now they're spreading, women have been overloaded with too much information.
Mm-hmm.
So women had this conversation that they're smarter than me, and your brain is not, your brain density and the design of your brain ain't even designed to be smarter than a man. The makeup of it.
Oh, you can't tell them that shit, boy. Well, we the
You're
same. We the same.
the left and right side of their brain don't look like the right and left side of a man's brain, as far as how we process emotions versus logic.
Mm-hmm.
Too much indoctrination is why you have a woman wearing a strap on, pretending to be a man, and another woman is laying down with her as if this is a man, because she's only doing what's in her nature, which is to be secure, which is why now you're seeing a lot of these studs kill their femme girlfriend.
Yeah.
Because they're finding out that this woman really didn't like me. She liked me for my resources.
Just think about the stud moaning while she getting it sucked.
Exactly.
Having sex.
What kind of cycle? Exactly. She's tricked herself into thinking she's a man.
Right. That she could feel it and stuff. Like, baby, this is plastic.
And not saying men, you got some men who think they're women. But on a majority scale, you're gonna have more women thinking that they're men, because they are the ones who have been overloaded with all this information that they cannot and are not designed to process properly.
Yeah, I want to say, does it like the female brain has more of like gray matter than the male brain?
I can't confirm or deny. I just know that there are distinct differences, which is why you look at the inventors, the creators, majority men, the nurturers. You look at job fields, you look at STEM. You even look at the job field industry,
right?
Where you look at STEM versus human studies. Women are going to dominate the nursing and
human
interaction, social services, hospitality. Women dominate those fields. Technical, logical, engineering, that's going to be dominated by men. That proves everything in between.
It says gray matter matters. There is evidence that women have more gray matter in their brains. Gray matter contains cell bodies. Gray matter contains cell bodies that help our bodies process information in the brain that is located with the regions of the brain that are involved with muscle control and sensory perception.
And you look at a woman's anatomy, she has 3,000 more nerves in her clitoris than you have in your penis. Which is why why she scream and you don't while you doing sex.
Do male brains have one brain? In a study of 465 neurologically intact adults, good ETL, whatever that means, 2001 found that male exhibited significantly higher gray matter volumes in majority of the brain regions. Yet they also found some clusters in which women had higher volumes than men. I don't know what it say 2001, but then this one does say let's see which one new, because they always coming out with new information.
Yeah.
Let's see what the gray matter do. Gray matter, bad news for expecting moms. Gray matter decreased during pregnancy, which I knew that. They talk about that. Brain cameras. In studies examining connections within the brain, it has been found that women tend to have strong connections side to side, which could lead to better intuitive thinking, analyzing, and drawing of conclusions. Men, on the other hand, tend to have strong connections with the front and back, which can result in heightened perception and stronger motor skills. Recent studies also suggest that the cerebellum, historically thought only to be involved in the coordination of movement, may be slightly different between the sexes and actually have an effect on behavior and thinking as well. In addition to brain processing patterns, men and women have different brain chemistry. While both process the same neurochemicals, they process them differently. For example, serotonin, which is connected to the happiness and depression, does not process the same in women. This could help explain why women are more susceptible to anxiety and depression.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean for health risk? Differences in genetic makeup may lead to a higher risk of developing certain health issues. Although this is a continuing field of research, some correlation may exist between hormones such as testosterone or estrogen, the particular health conditions, depression, stress, and anxiety, all of which are more common in women, are other factors that can lead to additional health concerns such as stroke. See what this means for your health in the infograph below. So yeah, our brains just different. Like we got the same
Different.
shit, but we just process different.
Yeah, man. I
The
mean,
connections to the brain.
And that's not saying you have to have a healthy balance, but when you try to mix, when women try to think they can do everything, no.
all right, man.
Just like I can't do everything. We do not understand our roles, certain roles that we have. But women, you got the superwoman. You can do it all. You can have it all. No, you cannot.
Okay. Not all size matter. Although male brains is 10% larger than a female brain, it does not impact intelligence. Despite the size difference, men's and women's brains are more alike than they are different. One area in which they do differ is the inferior parietal lobe, which tends to be larger in men. This part of the brain is linked to mathematical problems, estimating time, and judging speed. Another area that was previously debated was the hippocampus, which is associated with memory, but recent studies have found no difference in the hippocampus between the genders.
I mean, they say that the size don't matter, but shit, when you start talking about motor skills and things of that nature, that sound like a hell of a difference to me.
Size does matter.
I would think
A
size would matter
V12
too.
motor and a V8 motor is a difference.
I would think so too. But
It operate the same, but
Hold
a
on, go-
V12 motor and a V8.
Go back to the article. I want to see who wrote it.
okay.
Who's the author? Because a lot of times that plays a big factor too.
Yeah. Oh, you know it's gonna be some bias type shit in there. It's a little fluff in there to make it not as potent as it
really is.
As it really is. Yeah.
Let's see who wrote this article. Northwestern Medicine. So it's
Medical school. Yeah. No, what? That's a good medical school too.
yeah.
Pretty good.
Let's see. Maybe I gotta go down.
Probably at the end.
I wonder is this who wrote it?
What is that?
N.M. Grant.
Probably. Who conducted the study?
Well, I mean, I ain't trying to. I mean, it's similar as everything. Go back up, say. I want to show you something right quick.
I don't have possible health and failure more likely to develop alcohol dependency, 3 times more likely to be diagnosed with antisocial personal disorder, 4 times more likely to have autism, twice as likely to develop Parkinson's disease, twice as likely to develop depression, twice as likely to develop Alzheimer's disease in the U.S., 4 times more likely to develop multiple sclerosis, more likely to have a stroke, stronger side attack, thing, and more gray matter, optimal motor skills.
Now
That's
look
why-
at go up. Now look at the Battle of the Brains. Now what stands out to you when you see that?
Right here.
Mm-hmm. We look at Battle of the Brains. What like
Men versus
the
women.
background? Go back up.
Oh, the colors.
Yeah,
The colors.
Yeah.
it's subtleties, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The colors. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're looking at when you look at these type of stuff. But
Dang.
I think like I said, tying everything, as far as so we get this information right, we can process it, but if it was women syndrome, it'll go in one end, out the other.
Man, what?
It would not stick because The objective is the objective. That's why when we say, well, we're the moral compass. Women are not designed to be morally uh what's the word, just as men are, because it's about survival, which is
Yes,
why
that's
you
a
have
foundation.
these dope boys who can get the women shot up, all type of shit, going to jail. Women like, hey, he got resources. Fuck, I don't care what I don't care about none of that. He got resources. See what I'm saying?
Right.
It's the imperative, which is why women know when to break up with a man. Her body tells her, not her mind. Her body tells her when to break up with a man.
Mm.
He's not going to give you the resources that you're yearning for. You need to leave. So she starts sabotaging it from a micro level.
Yeah.
And then she thinks doing subtle things is going to ramp up your performance, and it doesn't work. Okay, now I'm more confirmed in my decision. Then this when she take it to her friends to get the approval.
Yeah.
A woman don't break up with a dude without getting approved from her friends.
Approved and also having a backup plan.
Exactly. The friends gonna help her find a replacement dude.
The monkey branching.
Yeah, the friends gonna play a part in her finding I got a dude for you. He ready for you. Woo, woo, woo. So
yeah, and that's the thing, man. You know, and that's another thing. Like when people talk about this whole polyamory thing, bro, like men are gonna always be at a disadvantage with that shit because there's always gonna be a man that's gonna be willing to play a certain role in a woman's life. He ain't gotta be the top dude. He just want a piece of the pie. And you talking about a man trying to do the same shit, and you're not gonna have the same level of opportunities as a woman is. And then if you do, they're gonna probably be low quality.
It depends on your performance level. Men refuse to evolve. When you take yourself up, I mentioned but I think I told you about him, Dan Bilzerian.
Yeah, you talking about him.
Dan Bilzerian is the modern day Hugh Hefner, but on steroids with sauce as a white guy. This is the only white guy I see on yachts who's made $50 million playing poker. This man to be on a yacht, it'll be him, 3 other dudes, and 42 women.
Mm.
He'll be laying in the bed. It'll be 19 women laid up under him. He'll be working out full. I'm talking about full intensive workout. It's 25 women watching him do this, just chilling in the back, drinking wine and shit. He working out like a fool. It's like they ain't even there. A weaker man couldn't do this. He'll be trying to get his dick wet.
What?
So the way we compete and outperform is to elevate to a level that most won't. This is why it's a reason why it's 1%ers. That 1% willing to sacrifice what the other 99 won't. So that 1% gets the 99%. Notice that?
Yeah.
The 1% conquers the 99%. Because I'm willing to do what you ain't.
Yeah. 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 I mean, that makes sense.
Man, he got 33 million followers on Instagram.
Yes, the man.
Oh, I ain't like I said, I ain't never heard
he
of
that.
him.
He that.
Oh yeah, bro.
He that.
Oh yeah, bro.
Oh, he got holes on top of holes on his bitch.
Look at it. That's just crazy to see.
On top of each other, man. Yeah.
So, and that not just to praise this white guy, but this just displays what it does when this man was almost a Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
The most rigorous, difficult training to get into any form or branch of the military is Rangers, Navy SEAL, Special Ops. Ain't nothing above that. The process to get to that, most won't make it. I think they got a 94% failure dropout rate. So only 6% of these people that go into Navy SEALs training make it through because it's rigorous. Most people can't. Their body ain't designed for it. They not gonna push themselves to that level. Same way with other things. So the way we compete when you have it's gonna be winners and losers. Ain't no gray area as a man. You either winner or you're a loser. We like to live in these gray areas and try to formulate these 50-50 relationships and stuff like that. They work for the time that they're needed.
Right.
The moment that time is past, who got a VCR right now?
Nobody.
Who got a VCR? Who got the fatback TVs right now?
Hell, the pawn shop probably ain't got no VCR.
You see what I'm saying? So you'll be used and appreciated for the time that you're needed. The moment something evolves and comes better than you, that will be the replacement. The reason why he's on a MacBook and not the Apple Mac, the first one. On a MacBook now. It's gonna be something that come out that's gonna dwarf that.
Right.
He probably gonna get that.
Yeah.
If you don't want to evolve,
you shall perish.
You will perish. You'll be phased out. So you have a choice. Most men, they choose to phase out. because it's too much of a sacrifice to evolve.
Hey, these whole playing with their titties on here and everything.
Yeah, going crazy on them.
I mean, that's the world we in, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know,
So before we get out here, do y'all think do y'all think the manosphere is over?
The manosphere as we know it is, yes, it would be a new space.
it'll
but
be a 3.0.
it'll be hard for us to find it as it should.
Yeah.
We need to create it and make it difficult to find. It need to be an initiation process because the moment we get a space, it's infiltrated.
Yeah.
Same way you had this infiltrated. They
Yeah.
knew they had to infiltrate it and destroy it this way. Because if they would have tried to drive, and shout out to Hardcore Tito. If y'all not familiar with him, I'm gonna shout him out. I know this your platform, but I think that dude needs to get his flowers because he called this out and said that if they were to drive it underground, it will be more potent. So instead of driving it underground, we're just gonna keep it. We're gonna elevate it and destroy it for the world to see.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna make a public execution of this space that you thought you had that was gonna save masculinity. When we want our agenda to come to fruition, not yours. Which is why Andrew Tate was arrested. Which is why Kevin Samuels was assassinated. This ain't happenstance. Kevin Samuels died 6 months later. Andrew Tate arrested. It's not no coincidence. They're trying to silence the voice of masculine men because those masculine men are going to echo conservative masculine values, which is the opposite of this transgender agenda, the alphabet agenda. It's the antithesis of all of that. So you do what you want with that information.
So Brad, what you think? You said it's gonna be a 3.0.
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, like it's been 2 variations, at least when it comes. I don't know about like the mainstream manosphere, but I know at least for the black manosphere, it's been like the original 1.0, and then like I guess this is got the ending of if we're saying that it is saying Paris 2.0. It will be another one. When you start to have like other platforms, like like Rumble or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Where saying you can say whatever the fuck you want to say. You know
Hey, I just signed up for Rumble too, y'all. We finna start going live over there because we got to say some real stuff and conversations that we need to have. We really can't have on YouTube.
Yeah, and that's and this gonna be the thing too. You're gonna start to see a lot more men shift away from YouTube because YouTube is too liberal.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. That's really a reason why, like, not to make it personal, but that's one reason why I really don't like to talk a lot of shit on like Facebook because I know
both of y'all done ducked off Facebook.
I mean, it's kind of what Big Bro said. Like, fam, like you're gonna have too many real conversations for motherfuckers to really like goddamn want to like delve into because they want to just stay surface level. And it's like, bro, I always think in the back of my head, like, why argue with a fool? And when the distance, somebody ain't gonna know the difference between you and that fool.
Right.
So I just try to say, you know what? I have my moments. Where I be like, man, I got time today. But a lot of times I be like, man, I ain't got time to argue with this motherfucker because they in their feelings, they emotional and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because they ain't gonna get nowhere.
Right.
And then I'm gonna say this. What's so funny about advocacy is that typically the very group that you're advocating for is the very one who you get the most fuck shit from.
Facts.
When I was B1, I used to get a lot of shit from black people. I'm like, nigga, I'm speaking for y'all. Now that, what I'm saying, I have shifted, what I'm saying?
B1, what's that?
Like first.
Now that I've shifted, what I'm saying, and kind of recognize the error of my ways with being, what I'm saying, B1, which is really pro-black woman, and really starting to recognize that it's really the war of, what I'm saying, trying to silence masculinity and trying to, what I'm saying, pedestalize feminism and whatnot. I get a lot of shit from men who be on that like that shaming language shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, who hurts you? I'm like, man, and I be trying my best not to be disrespectful. But in my head, y'all, I be like, man, you sound like a little bitch, bro. Like, you sound like a little female. Like, you sound like a single mother raised dude right now, bro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Trying to defend mama. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dennis Sperling always, he got this thing he said on the show called a lot of black men in particular have the simp goddess mother complex or whatever. Where it's like they're always trying to like uphold their mother, like in conversations and shit, because they come from that broken household. not understanding that, not in all situations, but in most situations, your mother is the very reason why her life is where it's at.
Mm. Yeah.
I can tell within a few minutes of conversation with him, I can know if he had a dad in his life or what kind of household he came from or what kind of I can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a single mother child.
Yeah.
I can tell.
Mm. Well, I'm gonna say I called this shit last year. I told everybody, hey, we need to start our own shit. Cause I was telling you, I said, what about this name? What remember me? I asking you,
Yeah.
I was like, we need to come up with a new name because this shit ain't finna last. Like the way this shit going, the way it look, the people that's leading it now, the stuff that I'm hearing echoed and being repeated, having a woman, having all the women just pop up. And like I tell people, when they kind of doing a podcast, I tell people I don't watch other people's stuff because I don't want it to seem like I'm copying or getting information because you said something that was real, but people like to act like it's not. How am I stealing something from you when we all going through the same shit, right? Now, granted, you might have said it a different kind of way or whatever, but we all going through the same shit. We all dealing with the same type of women and trying to, better ourselves and maneuver through all the minutia of this, this bullshit we call dating and life and racism and a whole bunch of bullshit. But us as black men, it seems like we got a spaghetti spine. You feel what I'm saying? And so it's time for us to just, stand up and do what is need to be did. But like I said, with the infiltration, and then it be the old niggas. That be the sad part. It be the niggas that's 45 plus. Like, what the fuck? Like, how y'all let a woman that's 25, 26, and all y'all double her age lead a space that was intended for men, and y'all don't want to say nothing against her because she popping right now.
Sad,
And
bro.
then even how she speaks about black people in America and get around um Nigerians and Africans that feel like they can speak on stuff that happened in America because they share the same complexion, but wasn't part of the atrocities or don't have any ancestors that were part of it is also baffling as well. That these people feel okay with speaking and saying racism not that bad as well, and still, be clicked up with this person because now it shows that y'all do actually separate yourselves from us too. And a lot of people don't like to admit it. A lot of people like to be like, "Oh no, Africans, they like us. Y'all should come back home with the woo." And then you start understanding why Tariq Nasheed have a FBA, and even Africans, if you don't have an ancestor that had this, or when y'all come over here and be like, "Yeah, we come over here and we ball out and do all this other stuff," and then you start understanding that they have all these programs and stipends and different type of stuff to help immigrants get ahead, then you be like, okay, I understand why you can get ahead in grants and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And so people don't even understand that aspect of y'all have so much more money just being an immigrant coming over here with your visas and different type of stuff to put y'all in different positions to win. Black people still asking for reparations. They don't want to give reparations and telling us they don't know how reparations will work. What the fuck you mean? You don't know how reparations work? You know how you gonna throw $40 million to Ukraine?
Facts.
40 billion. You know how you can give $40 billion to Ukraine. When COVID hit, y'all knew how y'all was gonna get money out them damn checks, didn't it?
Stimulus check.
They did that, didn't it? So what you mean y'all don't know how y'all gonna get reparations? I don't know how that'll work. You know how to work. And then people keep saying, well, it's like you're making people whose ancestors did something pay for it. That ain't coming out your pocket. It ain't got to come out your pocket. The way they printed up money for COVID I feel like COVID is just as worse as how slavery was for 400 years. Y'all can print up some money. It ain't got to come out of nobody's pocket. It ain't got to come out of no tax money and none of that. And it ain't got to be, well, oh, we make sure y'all got to pay this back. It ain't got to be none of that. So, like I said, if they wanted to do better for black people, or if black people wanted to, it's really at the point now where it's lace your own bootstraps up and get to work.
Yeah.
Because ain't nobody coming to save you. Nobody is coming to save you. And for real, the first step really is to come back with family. That's your first step, where the fathers can be in the household with these kids and they can raise these young boys to be masculine and understand what masculinity is and have some type of order and structure that can happen. Do I think that's gonna happen? No, I don't think it's gonna happen, but that should be the first step.
Yeah.
Y'all got any closing words y'all want to leave out?
Great conversation. I think it was much needed.
Yeah.
Like I said, just keep grinding, fellas. Keep getting your bag. Create something for yourself. Work on yourself. 1% better every day. That's all I can say.
Yeah, man, brick by brick, you know what I'm saying? Just following Chris sentiments, man. You know, just recognize, man, it's real out here in the field, man. You gotta do what you gotta do, you know what I'm saying, to get better every day. You know what I'm saying? You know, progress, not regress.
If y'all watch it, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. If you watch it on any platform, make sure y'all like the video and share, and let us know what y'all think in the comment section about today's video, and email us topics that y'all want us to talk about or discuss. It's the New Normal Podcast, and we gone.
Peace.